In 2012, I was pretty sick. One doctor handed me a diet that had margarine on the list of like things to eat. I said, all right, I got it. Clearly I have to handle this myself. The reimagining of how to grow food, the way it was done for hundreds of thousands of years.
Where we outsource it to these corporations.
And they just blast chemicals all over everything. It was probably like born out of good intentions. And then it just grew. The best I can do is grow more food.
Yeah, man.
Teach people to grow food, help people grow food. The more independent we all can be,
that's right.
Let the system collapse, whatever.
Our potential, it's exponential.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another podcast. Today I have Lonny from the Reid farm. Thank you for coming out, man.
Thanks for having me.
For sure. Yeah, so how'd you get into this stuff, this growing food stuff?
Well, in 2012, I was pretty sick. Stomach was real bad. And it progressed for years as I was learning to grow. I didn't really know how to grow. And
yeah, 2012.
Yeah. Right when my son was born is when it got really bad. And throwing up a lot and going to doctors, trying to figure out what was going on. And this one doctor handed me a diet that had margarine on the list of like things to eat. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I handed him back the paper and I just walked out of his office and I said, all right, I got it. Clearly I have to handle this myself. I got to figure this out. And
wow, that moment you were like, this is...
That was it. Something's got to change.
Wow.
So I went and ate some lettuce. I figured, like, what's the most benign thing I could eat that won't tear my stomach up? Let's eat some lettuce. So I had like iceberg lettuce. There's nothing to it. But it didn't rip me up. So I'm like, all right, that's good. Maybe I'll add in some more vegetables. I started just nothing. It was processed food was really what was tearing me up. And then, of course, there's the glyphosate dive and all of that.
Right.
But I started to just kind of whittle my way through things and look at ingredients and compare foods. And all right, I ate nothing today. I'm going to eat this one thing and I'm going to see how I feel. If I don't feel good, I'm going to look at these ingredients and figure out which one it was. And I had to go like ingredient by ingredient.
No way.
And identify things like maltodextrin, mono and diglycerides, sucralose, dextrose, every ose that's in everything, all the hidden sugars, all the hidden chemicals.
Right.
And one by one, I just eliminated them all.
Wow.
And
it was all the not natural stuff.
Yeah, like
Wow, so
real food.
Yeah.
Real food.
So you started eating better and taking it into your own hands.
And all of a sudden, I could not throw up every day. It was literally every day, like 5 a.m.
What was your diagnosis? Did they say?
There was none.
They
never had nothing for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
Were you like before you drinking like Coca-Colas? Yeah. Like mindless about it, right?
Yeah, just it's food. It's they sell it. It's fine.
Right.
But I didn't think about it.
It's like we're not conditioned like we are what we eat.
Yeah, we are conditioned to just eat what's out there.
Yeah. We marketed stuff since we're a little kid. You're right.
Sure. It's normal, and it's weird to people. The way I eat now, I'm weird. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I just eat food. Like regular food.
Yeah.
It's just like in its most natural form.
What would they say is like weird about it? Like is it abnormal?
A good buddy of mine I've known since I was like 2 years old. He, just a couple months ago, he said to me, he was describing someone else to me. He goes, she's got food issues like you. I said, what food issues do I have? He's like, well, you don't eat a lot of stuff. I said, I don't eat a lot of chemicals. I don't eat a lot of sugars. I don't eat a lot of artificial stuff. I eat food. He's like, well, if you came to stay at my house, like, how would you eat? I'm like, what do you really think this, huh?
Whoa.
I said, I could.
So he was saying you had an issue, basically.
Yeah. Like it's complicated and I'm difficult to feed. I'm like, I could get some rice. I get some vegetables, and I just eat and it'll be good.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
Cool.
But it's just simple. And I stayed simple.
Isn't the solution that's always just so simple? Wow.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
So what got you, so that's amazing, man. What got you into like growing food? Or is there more to the...
It's a long rabbit hole. But in that same year, as I started to realize, like, I need to figure out how to, I need to be eating a lot more natural stuff and staying away from this. There was a beef recall in 2012. It was like 8 billion pounds of beef recalled. And I remember seeing that, like reading it on Google or seeing it on the news or something. And then I went to the store the next day, the grocery store right up the street from our house, and all the shelves, like all the beef was gone. And I was like, oh my God, it's like here.
The next day, the ground beef aisle.
Yeah, all of it was gone. Like the whole meat shelves were empty. And it wasn't like in North Dakota. It was like,
right,
it's here.
Whoa.
This crazy thing that I read about on the news, it affects me. And it was,
wow.
I just never seen it before,
Because you were reading about the North Dakota, the craze about the beef recall.
Yeah, whatever happened, wherever. But it was nationwide, and it literally affected my grocery store.
When was that?
2012.
2012.
Yeah, big recall.
And what was the lesson from that?
Alternative backyard meat source.
Yeah.
How are we going to do this?
Yeah.
That was it. It was. I went home that night after being in the grocery store. I was like, wow, I don't want to eat beef ever again. I don't want to ever eat commercially processed meat ever again.
Cool. So I was just talking about, like the factory farm system on the last episode with Brielle. And like that's a perfect solution, man.
Yeah.
Alternative. Like, so what are some that you've integrated into your rabbit?
Rabbit's the answer.
Really?
Rabbit's the answer.
Just the ones I see out in the yard.
Domestic ones that we've raised.
That's right. With a hutch.
Yeah, with a hutch off the ground because they're not disease resistant at all. But
how many rabbits do you eat, like a month? Or a year?
I don't know, a bunch.
A lot. Because you harvest them at your house.
Yeah. Well, my wife got into showing for a while. Well, right after that beef recall, the next thing I did, like that night, I Googled alternative backyard meat source, and it was rabbits. This came up. Easiest to raise, quiet, no space. It was the answer. And nutritionally.
That's what I hear.
Nutritionally, it's phenomenal. High omega-3, omega-6, there's almost no saturated fat anywhere on it. It's super lean, healthy meat.
And they produce quickly, right?
Uh-huh.
They eat Mexican sunflower.
They love Mexican sunflower, Napier grass.
Wow.
All the stuff that I grow, that I need to grow. Biden's alba, that I use as part of my system, my chop and drop system and my fertilizing system. It's all, the rabbits love it. And then there's the manure.
Yeah.
The best compost.
It's the best for the veggie garden.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing better.
Wow.
So
you utilize that too.
Yeah. Big part of my system.
So do you get feed for your rabbits still or no?
We do, because the numbers are still big. They were really big for a while. After I got the first rabbits, like my wife was afraid to touch them because they're big. You never seen a 14-pound rabbit before.
Big.
It's big. And then she got into it and found show rabbits. Like, it was really fun. And we got into that for a little while, and then the politics involved in Arbo was just like ridiculous.
Really? With show rabbits?
Oh my God. It's the same reaction.
Yeah.
Rabbits? They're rabbits.
Yeah.
People are cheating at rabbits?
Whoa.
But they are. I mean,
really?
it was nationwide.
Interesting.
It was horrible. Like, it's embarrassing. You're cheating at rabbits.
Wait. So okay, that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
It's a whole, oh my God.
But dude, so what kind of rabbits are they?
Right now we have a mix that we've bred together. We've taken New Zealand's and French Lops. Okay. The New Zealand's really good heat tolerance.
That's what I hear.
The French Lops are gigantic. They're both meat types. My wife studied this so deep. She went deep into genetics. She was winning nationwide. Wherever she went, she was winning best of breed, best in show.
She was the best.
Yeah, she knew it was up. She studied the genetics really well. So it's like, all right, you're not going to show it. After the whole thing with these people, like, it's just they had.
Wait. So what was she winning at? Like, her rabbit was the nicest rabbit.
Yeah. It's deep. It's a big thing. Like,
it wasn't like the rabbit did anything. It was just it had what
it's just its conformity. It's how it's put together.
Oh, okay.
Muscle structure, bone structure.
What was her secret?
She just studied the genetics, and just knew how to put them together. Knew how to breed this one to this one, and you're going to fill in these spots. And
it's like mangoes or anything.
Yeah, breed a mango, pollinate a mango with a superior mango. You're good chance you're going to grow out a seedling that's going to put you a great fruit.
But dude, by the way, I just went to like 2 mango fests last weekend. Literally, it was overkill. I was like, this is 2 mango fests in one weekend.
I can't eat mangoes.
Anyways, one was Connor's. It was awesome. We ate so many. The other, I saw Gary Zill speak. and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, this is inspiring. It was so cool. And he was saying mangoes, like you could do that, but also you never know what you're going to get. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. It's kind of like mystical.
That's where all that cool varieties come from.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we have the store at my place every week with Mina.
Uh-huh.
And,
you sell those types of cool.
oh my God, I've
Really?
eaten so many mangoes. I don't want to eat any more mangoes.
You can't tell me
I'm
that.
sugared out.
Wait, so you got some mangoes up there in Central Florida, right?
You know Mina Iskandar?
I don't think so. Maybe.
He's the mango man.
Cool.
He is picking probably as we speak.
I think I have met him.
Yeah, I'm on the way down.
He travels and brings them up north.
All over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the mango store is at my farm. He brings them. He brings up like 2,000 pounds a week, and we just pump them
For
out.
the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, all mango season.
What's your favorite?
Sweet tart.
Dude, sweet tart is
Sweet tart.
amazing.
Sweet tart is it.
Shout out sweet tart.
Sweet tart. I tried a new one this year. Herbie. You ever heard of that one?
Dude, I do like that. Yeah,
thin skin
Alex
one?
showed me that.
Yeah.
He has some different ones.
That
man.
is a good fruit.
Herbie.
Herbie.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot this year. You always get a new one every year. You know, you find a
Exactly.
new one.
Expand your horizons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so what else do you guys sell? Tell us about your farm.
We sell
That's
a
amazing.
lot of plants. Like over the years, I tried to just keep finding things that we could eat that I could grow in my zone. And I'm like kind of right on the border of where you can grow tropicals and it's too cold to grow tropicals.
Really?
I'm literally at the line.
What zone is it kind
It's
of?
9B, maybe like the edge of 9B, 9A. And
Seriously?
my place is cold.
Yeah, Volusia County.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there's lots of mangoes around. In Deltona, there's a bunch of mangoes.
Got
There's
it.
lakes everywhere. There's
I hear
pavement
there's like
everywhere.
pockets, right?
Yeah, a lot of good pockets around.
Of like subtropical microclimate.
Everywhere where there's a lake,
Okay.
you know, the heat comes off the lake.
Exactly.
Like you're down here, you can grow whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's so freeing.
It's cool. We have some cool stuff.
I have to go to some lengths at my place. Like keep my mangoes
Yeah.
alive, my lychee, longan, sapodillas, all that stuff. I have it all.
Every year, are they big trees?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are getting there. And my Edwards is pretty big. My lemon zest is pretty big.
Cool.
They're getting there.
They make fruits?
Yeah, well, they dropped everything this year because they had this nasty drought, and
That's
I
right.
wasn't prepared. So
That was it affected Homestead and stuff.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weather was weird this year.
It's amazing they're still pumping mangoes. Like you're still getting pounds of mangoes.
Yeah,
I like to hear that.
yeah, they're around. It's wasn't like last year.
Yeah, right.
Last year was nuts.
This tree was loaded out here. Yeah. We're at the farm, by the way. First podcast at the farm.
Right
Kind
on.
of fun.
Honored to be the first.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's
Welcome.
what tree is that out front? That big giant one.
Some sort of seedling.
Really?
Jute farm. Yeah,
Is it good?
40-year-old. It was good for what it was.
That's
We
cool.
dried a bunch of it. It was great. Yeah, that was
Cool.
good.
That's a monster out there. That's a
Yeah.
big tree.
A lot of fruits, bro. But this year, just one fruit.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God, I missed that. I didn't,
yeah.
Anyways, like, so you sell like trees though, too.
We sell a lot of trees. I sell a lot of edible greens, tropical greens. Like one of the first years
Like what?
we were at the property, my wife, we grew these great like annual gardens, like in this wintertime when we can do bok choy and kale and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we having these fantastic salads and eating all these vegetables, and then May comes along and flattens it all to the ground.
Yeah.
So after the first season, Kelly goes, I want salad in the summer. Like, we're here to grow food 365 days a year. Figure it out, get to work. So I started hunting down anything that would grow like kind of like in my latitude line around the world.
That's right.
And any other country, where can I get this stuff? So of course the tropical spinaches that we all have, longevity in Okinawa and all that stuff.
Yes.
So I have a lot of those spinaches. There's a whole
Summer
bunch of
spinaches. There's so many.
hibiscuses.
Yeah.
I saw you have some of that radiatus out there.
Yeah.
Delicious. I love that stuff.
Dude, I love that. So your wife, she was on it. Yeah, and you went and seeked out. That's what permaculture people do. The latitude.
Yeah.
The same ones that grow all around the world.
Yeah, north and
Grow
south
here.
of the equator.
Right.
Like Australia. It's got some great spots in Australia. Same plants.
Like what's from Australia?
Loquats, they're growing tons of loquats down there. If you
Loquats are great.
like Self-Sufficient Me, that YouTuber guy.
Okay.
If you look at his kind of like his palette of plants, it's so similar to what we grow. here.
Yeah.
So
They do avocados. They do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's all the
They
same
call it pawpaws. It's papayas. Right?
papaya, yeah. But it's all the same stuff.
Isn't that crazy? It's like from the other side of the world, but it's just where it lands with the sun. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's what our climate looks like
Yeah.
and what's our high and low temperatures. So as many places I can go and find, okay, I found new edible green. Honyak, found that last year. Some weird green.
Cognac.
Honyak.
You have to put me onto that.
I haven't even eaten it yet.
Yeah.
I just got it growing out. It's big now. It's like this big, so we'll
Okay.
start eating it now. But it's just anything I can find.
Wow.
Anything I can find. If I go
Yeah,
to
I'm on
any
that
farm.
I'm on that same deal.
My place is
Wow.
so thick and dense and crazy. And it grew that way, kind of born out of laziness.
Really?
Or maybe I got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And it was just too much.
But like what wanted to grow grew,
Yeah.
and it's just now it's a food forest type
yeah,
thing.
it's huge.
Wow.
It's so thick.
Really?
It's so thick. But
How
I
many? You said it's kind of how many acres?
It's 2 acres, just over 2 acres.
2 acres.
Yeah. But it's like anyone that walks in my property, they're like, what do you have, like 10? Like, no, it's just 2. They're like, what?
You max it out.
There's thousands of trees there. Thousands.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of potted, a lot in the ground. Like, there's a lot of food coming out of
So you
this
have
place.
like bananas and
A
stuff.
lot of bananas.
Bananas?
A lot of bananas, yeah.
Cool.
We're even selling bananas at the stand every day.
Amazing.
Because I just so many bananas.
We have so many too.
Yeah, bananas are thick. I do really well with stone fruits. Like my nectarine tree is maybe the best thing I grow.
No
I
way.
love that nectarine tree.
Wow. You are in that sweet spot where it's like, I feel like we're in that sweet spot sometimes, but you guys are in the sweet spot because you get those like nectarines.
Yeah.
We don't know it doesn't do well here.
But you can grow soursop.
But we grow sour.
I can't grow soursop.
Yeah, that's true. You can't do the ananas.
I can do some anonas and not soursop.
There's blessings all over the map.
There is.
But
there
it's
is.
like, what? Nectarines is the best one?
Oh my God. Sunracer nectarines, I'm telling you, that's like one of
Wow.
the premium things they're one of the best. They're so juicy. They're just so developed perfectly. And I do nothing. I literally do nothing. I put that tree in the ground in 2018. It was a 3-gallon tree. I put it in the ground. It's hit 25 foot and had to be taken back many times already. It's huge. And it's just picturesque. It's beautiful.
You don't prune it, you just let it.
I had to. I would have snapped branches. I had the thought one year, like, what happens if I don't prune this thing at all? What happens? What happens is you break branches with way too much fruit. So I was out there with like bamboo stakes, propping branches out. Because way too much fruit.
Too many fruit.
Way too many fruits.
Wow. Yeah, you have to thin it out at some point, I hear.
I had to cut big limbs. I had to cut big wood. I had to take out big wood, like some of this stuff out because it's just too much.
Dude, so you do it. Like, I want to know like what you've learned in your journey of growing.
The biggest lesson that I've learned and what I try and teach people when I do an install, I'm kind of picky about who I install for because I don't want anyone going out there and throwing fertilizer on the ground. They got to learn my system and you got to be willing to work it. You got to be willing to go out there and do it. And the biggest lesson I've learned is the less I try and control, the better it grows. If you have a huge infestation of a weed, is it a weed or is it a useful plant?
Wow. Yeah.
What am I going to do with it?
I love that. That's what I was going to go to about you being like lazy. Like, expand on that. That's kind of the same thing. Like, you want to like, less is more.
Yeah.
The less I try to control, you said.
Biden's alba. It's a perfect example. Biden's alba grows. You know what it does.
Yeah, it's a native weed.
It just seeds like crazy.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
medicine all the way down to the roots. Every part of it, you can make tinctures out of it. It's antibacterial, antibiotic. It's super useful. It's also just edible. We eat it all the time. We eat it in every salad. I'll throw it in stir fries. I'll just munch on it while I'm out there. It's got a really unique flavor, but I see it's right there.
Yeah,
See it
exactly.
out the window.
I love that.
It's everywhere.
It goes everywhere. That's what you're
everyone
saying.
overlooks it
Yeah.
as a weed, but I look at it now like it just completely overtook my whole place. It's everywhere. It's the whole place. So, but in the wintertime, it gets cold enough that it just drops it to the ground completely. So I fill the place with 3 or 4 foot of growth, and then it just mulches itself.
I love that.
It's a beautiful chop and drop.
And you just leave it.
I do nothing, and it chop and drops itself.
People overlook these, like, because when it gets to that point, people will get scared maybe to like, and you're just letting it be, right? Some people will like weed whack it all or something, or like spray it all.
Yeah.
But you're letting it just, the pollinators do
Just
it.
let it do.
And then use it as biomass. I love that.
It is biomass. It's like whatever can grow
Yeah.
in my land. Whatever wants to grow like insanely fast, that's what I want to grow. That's my biomass. I want to fill the ground. I had an irrigation moment that I realized I needed to enrich every single spot in the whole place so I didn't have to irrigate so much. I had a drip line.
Yeah.
And I had like 85 heads on this drip line. I had
In your food forest, in your whole place.
85, no, just in this one spot.
Oh, okay.
I had 85 trees jammed in this one spot. And I wanted to go in there and plant something in between two of the trees one day. I remember this distinct moment. It was right in between a plum and a mulberry. I want to go plant something in the ground. And I went out there and I went, oh, there's no irrigation there. Oh, I have to go get the irrigation box and I have to dig the pipe up and I have to poke one of them little things in and a piece of 1/4-inch tube. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
It's silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing right now about like, we don't water our trees. And there's a good point about it because you don't really need to.
Once they're in and solid. I watered the nectarine 2 times since 2018.
And it goes off.
It's good, yeah. Huge.
No fertilizer.
No, I've never fertilized. There's never been fertilizer on the ground at my farm since I started growing food. Ever. Wow. Nothing. It's been manure, tons of mulch.
Yeah, a lot.
So much mulch. So people are always trying to get mulch. I'm like, how do you do it? I said, well, I made a lot of homemade wine for a while, and the guys would show up and drop me a load of mulch, and I'd give them a bottle of homemade wine. Guarantee they're coming back.
Yeah, you're smart. I gave them mangoes the other day, and we don't have a lot this year, but
But you're gonna get more mulch.
They're coming back.
Yeah,
you're exactly right, bro.
Yeah, you just grease them.
And by the way, I want to give it to them because they're blessed. They work hard. Yeah.
The more you share, the more you get.
And they're stoked because they're not paying to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Do they pay to get rid of it at the dump?
They have to, yeah.
Yeah, same.
I get 2, 3, 4 loads a week.
Yeah.
I get so much more. It's great. And then
how do you move it around with the machine?
Tractor.
Yeah. What do you got?
Kubota.
Yeah.
A little small, mid-sized Kubota.
Yeah.
But what's great about when you have enough of it and let it break down for a year or two. I just found a new spot, actually. I was climbing over top of the mulch hills with the tractor, and the front wheels sunk in.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, what did I find here? And so I took a scoop with the tractor, and I picked it up. It's like 4 foot deep, just beautiful soil.
Black.
Yeah. That's all you have to do is just pile up biomass and wait.
Literally. In Florida, I think, also.
Yeah.
It's humid.
Terry Meir said to me a while back, a few years ago, I was talking to him about how fast we compost. And he's like, yeah, 33.4% faster than the rest of the country. I'm like, someone did the number? He goes, yep, that's it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, super fast, just because of the humidity, the heat. I imagine it varies, in the state, north to south, because there's so many different zones, but it's fast. Pine especially.
Yeah,
Conifers,
softwood,
like that. Yeah. 1 year, it's usable soil.
Compost, man. It's part of the system, right?
It is the system.
It is the system.
It really is.
It totally.
How I feed my plants, and this is how I can describe it to people so they can understand how to make a permaculture system work, where there's no input, you don't have to go buy things. It's bugs. Bugs are the answer to everything.
How so?
Bugs make the compost. Mushrooms, of course, they're going to be there. The mycelium runs throughout, decomposes everything.
Yeah, people see bugs in there, they like think it's a problem sometimes. I'm like, no, like that's good.
That's living soil.
Yeah.
Because you want worm castings, right? They're the greatest things. People will buy worm castings.
Premium.
Why not just make them in place? Make them right at the base of your trees. Give the worms something to eat. Create an environment that attracts worms and grubs and mycelium and every other bug you can possibly think of. Every bug that
They'll just show up.
They do. Millipedes. You've got to have millipedes all over.
Oh my God. In the mulch piles?
The greatest.
They're in my house. They're all over.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere. I love those things.
Yeah. No, I love what you're saying, dude. They're the ones that break down the soil. That's what we want. That's like what we're farming, right?
That's it. I'm farming bugs, and fruit is like the byproduct. If you give the bugs food, if I throw a banana leaf on the ground, like I chop it, harvest some fruit and cut that tree to the ground. If you go back the next day, that tree's laying on the ground, roll it over. What's underneath it? Millipede city. Millipede city.
Millipedes. We love the millipedes.
Every bug that I see in like big numbers, they're sitting there pooping. That's what they're doing.
Right.
Eating. That's their purpose. Eat, break down, decompose, regenerate. That's what they do. That's every bug's purpose is to just break things down and regenerate.
And it's our job to foster that.
Yeah.
Right?
Not kill it.
Yeah. That's such a problem. How do we get away from that? Like our culture, because you're talking about bringing it to like your site almost, right? Doing it right on site.
Yeah.
Like localizing it. That's the key.
They just have to accept it. It has to be accepted as a good thing instead of a bad thing.
Yes, it's got to be accepted as the real paradigm. It is.
Yeah, the reimagining of how to grow food, the way it was done for hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years, not just the last 100.
Yeah.
Where
we outsource it to these corporations.
And they just blast chemicals all over everything and watch the system failing as...
Because like because the regulations are supposed to be good and like protect us and stuff, but it's really like pinned against us with these policies. Like there's still poisons in the stuff you get at like most of those things in the Costco aisle.
Yeah.
I'm like just getting lemons and whatever.
It was probably like born out of good intentions and then it just grew. That's kind of how it seems to me, like the system, the way it is, the food system.
Yeah.
There's good intentions there. It's like we have got to be close to 400 million people.
Of course.
To feed.
We got to feed our soldiers.
How do we feed these people?
Got to feed our kids.
We got to grow the food. You got to grow a ton of the food. The bugs are going to eat everything.
But those
people spray it.
But those people didn't They think quick solutions. They don't understand. Like we didn't understand microbiology back then in the 40s.
No.
We didn't know.
So much that wasn't understood.
Like, we didn't understand we had to maintain homeostasis in the soil.
Like each person has to, though. If each person did this much, if each person even had a small garden on anything, just grow something, take the pressure off the system, lighten the load, then the system can maybe work a little bit better.
That makes sense.
Yeah. On being a little more natural.
So if every person focused on it a little bit more.
This much. Grow a katuk plant. Like, it's one of the greatest things you can eat.
Do you sell a lot of katuk?
Yeah. I love katuk.
Yeah, man.
I eat so much of it.
Powder it. It's good. Yeah. I like it. It's good. There's some that are better than others.
Yeah.
Just like anything.
I got a few varieties. I like them all.
Yeah, dude. So you're sharing all these food forest plants with people.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's mostly what I do is I just like propagate all the time.
Yeah.
Like my job is seed harvester.
You're chief harvester and seeder.
I seed harvest a lot. I can't want to eat any more fruit. It's so weird. I grew this big fruit farm. I don't want to eat any more fruit. I'm so over
No
fruit.
way. Really? I can't give you anything. I
got a Glen mango sitting in the car.
There you go.
Like, I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to have to leave it with you. I don't.
I've been eating so many Glens.
Yeah, they're so good.
Do you like Glens?
Yeah, I like Glens.
They're good. They're good.
It's like
They're good.
It's like the best all-around mango.
It's good. I like it, man.
Good performance.
And it produces, it performs.
Yeah, it's a good all-around.
My friend Paul doesn't like it. He's like hates on that.
Really?
Like sub-tier.
Yeah, like Indian mangoes?
Maybe. I don't
Most
know
people that don't like Glen like Cary. It's like the eternal battle, Glen versus Cary.
Oh, is it online on the internet?
I don't know. It just seems like it. Cary and Glen are the two most popular.
Cary is good.
Cary.
We had it at our old farm. Cary. It's hard to disappoint me with those. You give me one of those mangoes, it's like, thank you.
Any of these top tier mangoes.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah, top tier, man.
Yeah.
So what else, bro? Reed Farm. I appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, what are you heading down to Homestead to do some fruit
I'm going
reconnaissance?
to actually to meet Dr. Campbell.
Nice.
Mina's going to introduce me to him. He's done a lot of work with him, and
Amazing.
got to check out some farms down there.
Yeah, bro. They grow.
Yeah.
I'm curious what he has to say about this season.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him. I'm curious to see what happened down there. He's in such a unique spot with all the coral. He's like sitting on top of coral.
Interesting. That's
and
right.
Farms right in it.
And the mangoes don't love it.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
I noticed he puts rocks around the bases of all his plants.
Yeah, and coconuts, right? Or no?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, let me know.
It had something to do with the rocks catching dew in the morning. Because they stay cold and dropping water on the plants.
During those drought periods.
Yeah, it had something to do with that. I have to learn more. That's why I'm going.
Don't they take care of? Yeah, I mean, dude, that's amazing. I met him at a mango tasting a while back. I was impressed, you know?
His buggy
depth
was like,
of knowledge.
Yeah, a lot. He's like, you have to come meet Richard.
Amazing.
So that's what I'm running down for.
Cool.
I was trying to
they take care of the whole thing with the hand saws, right? Or is that, like, they just use hand saws the whole operation?
I think so, yeah. He's pretty primitive.
That's cool, man. I think that's cool.
Everyone who has their thing about, like, I'm almost like Nazi about this thing,
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Me too.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason behind all of it.
Yeah. What's yours?
Just stay 100% natural.
Cool.
I have fought myself on it.
You know, natural, how would you define that?
Just what the earth gave me to turn out food. Nothing else. No synthetics.
But some fertilizers, like for example, I get some chicken manure pelleted. It's probably from big farms or something. Would that be not considered natural?
No, that's pretty natural.
Okay, cool.
What
the earth gave you.
What the earth gave you. Yeah, I don't want a pelleted fertilizer.
Got it.
And
that was like a chemical. Yeah.
And it wasn't so much like that. I have this huge aversion to it. I use it in the potted plants, like the nursery plants, because there's so many of them. I can't feed everything.
Yes.
I'm not going to use all my rabbit manure in my potted plants that I sell. I'm selling a bazillion plants
at scale.
So I just buy potting soil mix and we pot plants up. And if they're looking rough after a year, I give them a tablespoon of some stuff. But in my system where I grow, the reason behind it was, what if, and this was long before COVID, what if the world turned off? What would I do? Would I be able to produce food and feed myself?
It's pretty quick to, what was your answer? What was the conclusion? Yeah.
Wow. I was good. I was fine. When COVID shut down, it was great. Me and my wife were laying in bed one day.
What?
Because there was nothing to do, you weren't allowed to go anywhere. It was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, a lot of people just like had nothing going on.
There was nothing going on. My business turned off.
Wow. We got busy. I was busy.
I got busy pretty quickly.
We were like what was that? Like a required business? I forget what.
Yeah.
Necessary business?
Yeah. I was laying tile at the time.
Okay.
In people's houses. That was over.
It was done.
Done.
Yeah, you couldn't get in the house.
No, done. So my business turned off.
Such a weird time.
Instantly. On my birthday too.
Wow.
It was
in
like,
March?
Yeah, March 13th.
Wow.
It was my birthday. It was the last day that I ever laid tile professionally.
Oh my goodness, congrats.
Shut
so now
down
it's just like
March 16th.
Wow.
That was the day. It was that Monday after.
I remember that.
I remember it clearly.
Yeah, we all remember it. But dude, yeah.
So we're laying there. It's like a week or two later.
Yes.
And she looks at me, and this was after a lot of people telling me I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing all this out here?
Yeah.
And she looks at me, she goes, tell me you don't feel a little bit validated right now. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
While everyone was scrambling to the store and freaking out, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to go outside and pick some food.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
It's true. I feel that too. Dude, but I mean, even people who never would have thought that same thing you're talking about, like the world shut down or something, people who were like, it would never, ever happen. Even those people are coming around saying, yeah, I see it now.
And that's
crazy.
That's
bro.
what the nurseries and the guys that are, I've seen what you guys are doing out here.
Uh-huh.
We're going to thrive. We are already thriving, but we're going to thrive. let the system collapse. Let it get worse. Let the medical system invade the food system and vice versa and all that.
But you don't think that's going to be like super destructive? Like,
Yeah,
right?
horrible.
What
Horrible.
do you think? Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, it's true. You can only control what you can control, right?
The
Full circle.
the best I can do is grow more
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, man.
Teach people to grow food. Help people grow food. Get the more independent we all can be.
That's right.
Let the system collapse. Whatever.
I feel that though. It's like we can only be resilient because I'll try to like try to change the system and like change people's perspective and change. But it's like, man, you can't really change anybody's mind.
No.
Like people are where they're at. But like you could change your own ecosystem, environment, and whatever we can control, we could change, right?
Yeah, and show people.
Wow.
Look,
yeah.
this is a demonstration garden. Here's my This was a house that we bought that was just oaks and ivy. We cut down a lot of trees so I could get some sun.
Yeah.
And I turned this desolate place, and it was depressing when we got there.
Yeah.
Turned it into this thriving farm, and we're doing classes all the time and events. We just did a big tasting a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Tasting what?
Mango tasting.
Awesome.
We have 42 varieties where we landed.
Wow. What was the best of the best?
I don't know. I didn't even get to taste one.
Yeah. Really? You were hosting.
I sweet tart. I'm sticking.
Sweet tart,
I stick to my guns. Sweet tart wins.
Yeah. But dude, so how many years has that been going? Like
my
what
place?
year is it at this point? Like, cause you're right. You have created a result.
It's year 10.
You're,
Yeah, we're in year 10.
dude, that's why you could sit back at COVID. You're like, we've got some stuff.
Yeah, we were good. And then since as soon as
We're good.
as soon as COVID shut us off,
Uh-huh.
it was a few weeks later that I got the bug. Like, I can't sit still. I'm a mover.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I got to make some money. I got to figure out how to make some money. We were lucky that my wife was on a salary position and she could do what she needed to do and still get paid.
Nice. Yeah,
So
yeah. Didn't shut off.
It gave us a cushion for a minute, even though they were suspended mortgages and everything was good. But we were good. And I was like, all right, I got to figure out how to make some money. What can I do to make some money? And I figure everyone's freaking out about food, literally like losing their minds, going store shelves are empty and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I have food producing plants. I have some cool stuff. I'm just going to go outside and pot a bunch of stuff up. So I potted up
make more food.
Yeah, I potted up about 10 plants. I think that's all it was, 10 or 15 plants. And I had these little platforms that I had made. We were doing yoga on the farm at one point. They were just big enough to hold a yoga mat, like 2x6. And I put those plants on that platform. And I advertised. I don't even remember where, some of the food forest groups or something. And this guy showed up and bought $60 worth of plants from me. And funny enough, like 2 or 3 years earlier, this chick was walking around my farm. I had made a chicken plucker, and I decided I never wanted to raise meat chickens. So she needed to borrow it. I'm like, you just have it, just take it.
Amazing.
And
out of like a laundry machine or something?
Yeah, it was a 55-gallon drum, and I just installed all the rubber fingers and used an old grinder motor, and I like to build. I build stuff.
That's cool, man.
But she needed it.
Yeah.
And so I gave it to her, and while she's wandering around my place, she's like, you should get your nursery license. This was like back in 2017, 2016, long before I had a nursery. I never even thought about it. I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. Seems like you should. And it just kind of rung in my head for a while.
Like a couple years before that.
Yeah, and it just kind of stayed there. And so I did it one day. I'm like, it's $35. I'll get my nursery license. So I got it. And I never did anything with it. And I just, for whatever reason, I kept renewing it every year. I kept renewing it. And then COVID hit, and I had a valid nursery license.
Wow.
I was like, whee, off we go.
So, and after COVID, you sold your first little set of plants for $60. And you're like, this is cool.
I was like, all right, that was free. That was easy. I can do more of that.
Yeah.
So I just started running around, propagating and cutting, making cuttings. And
of like your favorite stuff.
Yeah,
that's
all what I had. And I was super determined to just be like, I'm only going to sell what I propagate. Only stuff that I produce on the farm. And I was good for a while until it grew a little bit. And all of a sudden, I was empty. I had nothing.
Yeah.
And my wife.
Well, we got to start outsourcing, honey.
Yeah.
No,
That's
just
my wife told me, she's like, you might want to
That's
think about
funny.
buying some stuff somewhere.
But like, I love that was you're convicted about that. Like that was your mission at first.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Like that's what Connor, my buddy who has another nursery,
Yeah,
edible
I've known
nursery.
that.
Yeah.
I know Connor.
He's like, we're trying to seed as much as we can here at the nursery. I'm like, that makes so much sense,
Yeah.
man. Like
Propagate.
propagate.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah, man.
My goal really is to propagate everything that I sell. And I need more space.
You need space.
I'm full,
dude.
man. I'm
Yeah.
full. I have patches of
There you go.
1,000 trees growing out here, 1,000 trees growing out here,
Really?
1,000 trees growing out here.
Wow.
I'm full, man. I'm full.
Yeah.
And I have
Your brain, or because we can get more
Yeah.
land. Where
Yeah,
you should annex.
I'm working on it. I got an acre right next to me.
Cool.
That I'm about to push up onto.
Awesome.
Yeah, I need
cool,
to.
man. That'd be fun.
I need to do it.
Next time you're here, I hope you have that.
I probably will. It's a matter of just moving the trees up there at this point. My neighbor's cool. He
Cool.
just lets me do whatever I want up there. That's awesome.
What are you gonna plant? What are you gonna plant?
I'm probably just gonna put a bunch of nursery pots up there.
Got it.
Like
Expansion.
a whole bunch of peach grow outs, and nectarine grow outs, plum grow outs, pomegranates. Man, I kill it with pomegranates.
Really?
So many people struggle with pomegranates.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
No, it's
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah,
Vietnamese
no.
red
I gotta get the right one.
all day,
Vietnamese red.
all day,
Good to know.
crushing it.
I'll have to get one from
I have
you.
hundreds and hundreds of plants.
Let me get one from you. Yeah.
I gotta
cool.
get you up to my place now.
I want to do
You gotta
it.
come see it. It's wild.
Yeah, bro.
Come
That
up,
sounds sick.
Pick some food.
Yeah.
we'll make 'em- We could pull a meal right off the
That
land.
sounds
and-
fun. My neighbor Jerry, he's got a pomegranate. It's loaded.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like
it's
I should.
probably that Vietnamese.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, it's solid. So
It's good.
it's really good. Yeah,
Cool.
they're great, and they like the heat. They do great in the heat. They don't care about the cold. It's the wind, because I have to balance all that in my zone.
Yeah.
What can I grow in my zone?
What are like the main ones you tell people? Because you've done so many at this point. The new gardener at home. What's the best ones in your area? Volusia County.
Mulberry, Central Florida. From Central Florida.
Central, yep.
Mulberries, all the stone fruits, peaches, plums, nectarines, loquats, Cattleya guavas, cherry of the Rio Grandes, Patomba. There's a bunch of good Eugenias that do well in the cold.
Eugenias.
Yeah, a lot of Eugenias. Avocados, the cold hardy avocados.
What are some cold hardy ones?
Fantastic, Brogdon, Winter Mexican.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Sex Slum Village.
yeah, Fantastic's great. Chuckette has proven some good cold hardiness.
That's what I hear.
Wirtz, Fuerte.
I like Wirtz,
Yeah,
dude.
I really like Day.
Day is good.
Day fruits are just good.
And they pump fruit.
Yeah.
Wait, so Day does well up there?
Yeah, so far she's doing
Cool.
okay. Brogdon has been my champion.
Brogdon's a winner.
Brogdon's the winner so far.
You got big trees, dude. 10 years?
No, that
got
Brogdon's only been there. See, there's a lot of learning curves that I had to go through.
Please tell.
I have a 7-year-old Winter Mexican
Oh, okay.
that has produced 2 fruits
What?
because I didn't plant it properly.
Oh, why? What did you do wrong?
It's sunk over the time. This is something, it's so crazy. I hear, when I tell people ask me how to plant, they buy a tree and they're like, all right, how do I
Yeah.
plant it? And when I tell them what I do and how I plant, they're like, I have never heard that before. How I plant them super high up out of the ground.
You have to.
But why is no one talking about
Yeah.
that? Why is it not common knowledge in Florida?
Yeah, so I don't know. You're right. I have a video about it I put out like 2 years ago. It's like I know, yeah.
Because we see
People like that have taught, like the pros know about it and they talk about it.
But why isn't it like everywhere?
Yeah. Well, we're talking about it now. Hopefully they know. Wait, so what's the way you do it, and why are people thrown off? Like,
I think they're thrown off because when you buy a tree, like a lot of people buy them at Home Depot or Tractor Supply or whatever, because they don't know where to find these cool nurseries.
Totally.
But on those tags, it always says plant at soil level. So they dig a hole and they stick the tree in the ground.
Because the tag says that.
The tag says soil level. And it says, you Google, how do you plant a fruit tree? It says soil level.
Because these are like around the country with clay and all that stuff.
And rocks, and there's things.
It's a totally different game in Florida. People don't realize it is.
It's a beach.
Yeah.
And this,
So with these rains, so you're saying like the winter Mexican didn't like it because it's sunk in the ground.
it's sunk away.
Avocado doesn't like that.
No, none of them like it. I have a peach also planted around the same time. It produces, but it's weak. It's not sick because it has a disease. It's sick because it's not planted properly.
It's not planted properly. Interesting.
Well, the ones that are planted properly, right next to it,
Yeah.
they're fine. But I had to learn that lesson. Dug this big giant hole, and I put all this compost in it.
Yeah.
3 foot deep,
Yeah,
6 foot wide. Plopped a peach tree in it. Plopped an avocado tree in. This is like some of my first trees I ever planted. They've been there a long time, and they look great for the first couple of years. Man, these things are growing like crazy. And then why are they slowing down? Like, what's going on here? And I started like digging around the trunk, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm finding these things are sunk like this far. The roots are in solid now. I mean, the trunk's this big. I'm not lifting that. So that peach is just days are numbered. When it goes, it goes. I'll replant.
Yeah. So it's like, it's got to be like a high and dry. Avocados like that a lot. Too.
Super high.
Yeah.
So what I do now is I call it sanitizing the spot. I just make sure there's no roots. Just pull out everything. And I just take the plant out of the pot, set it on the ground.
Exactly.
That's it. I don't
On the
dig a
sand.
hole. On the sand. Let it contact the sand so it's got good drainage.
Wow.
And I go up to the hill and I go get some of that black goop that I found.
Yeah.
That good broken down wood chips.
Yep.
20, 30 gallons of it, pour it around, create a little volcano looking thing. And then another 20 or 30 gallons of mulch.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
That's
You
it.
have to water them. Just leave them alone.
Go to bed. Good night.
That's it. That's all I do.
Compost, then mulch.
Compost and mulch.
Yep.
And that's it. I'm done.
Wow.
Give them a few months. They're dug in. They're happy. I had so many little experiences that gave me these lessons. The fig was a really good one. One of the first things I ever planted. I love figs. Grew up eating figs from my grandparents. And I bought this fig. It was a black mission in a 5-gallon pot. Went out back, stuck it in the ground, thinking figs don't need any help. They're growing in the Mediterranean where it's dry, it's hot. Like they should be able to kill it here. So I stuck it in the ground. I watched it for almost a year. Barely grew a leaf. Okay, why is this? Let's go investigate. So I started digging around the fig, and I'm digging sand out. And I ended up digging this big donut about this big. And my fig, in its original 5-gallon pot, is sitting there on a pedestal of sand, fully exposed. And I'm like, why have no roots left that root ball? Because the sand outside the root ball is a horrible environment. It's dry. It's nutrientless. Why would the roots want to go there? So they just kept turning around and going back inside the root ball where the little bit of good material was. So I went and got a whole bunch of compost and just filled the donut up with good rich stuff. The next year, that thing was like 7 foot tall, a big old canopy on it and fruit all over it.
The next year.
The next year.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, give it a reason to reach out.
Yeah.
Put it in the sand, it doesn't want to reach out. So a big lesson that I had when we tried to jet a well in the ground, I learned a huge one here. We were pushing down the forage pipe into the ground. We were just going to jet for a little hand pumper, which ultimately was a failure because the water is 44 feet below my property.
Oh my goodness.
And I just, you can't hand pump like that. I need a big pump and all.
Yeah.
But while we were doing it, we were pulling the sand out of the ground with the 4-inch pipe. Different grades of sand, whites, grays, yellows, oranges, all different grades. And right at about 11 foot, between like 10 and 11 foot, we started hitting black sand. It was probably about that much of it. And then I hit hard bottom, lime rock bed.
Got it.
Nothing could go any further. And it took me a couple days for it to like really register of what was going on there. Anything that's ever hit that property over the course of however many hundreds of thousands or millions of years that this property has been uncovered and things have been growing on it, has decomposed to particles smaller than the sand and sift their way down and made it to where it couldn't go any further, which is that thick lime rock bed, and settled. So like this is nutrients, this thick, beautiful growing medium, 10 feet below my property.
It's humus.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's interesting to think about.
So I looked at my plants like, oh my God, you guys are anything I put there, it's gone.
Yeah.
It just goes right through.
It's a big old filter.
Huge filter, just
Yeah.
a sieve. So planting them high, because anything in the pot when you plant it is going to break down and sink. The root structure sinks and settles away.
Yes.
So it kind of really morphed the way I do everything. Start to enrich everything, and then the roots can reach everywhere. And I think of them as filter feeders now. The roots are sitting there just waiting for nutrients to go by.
Yeah.
And the more stuff I throw in the ground, the bugs eat it. It just goes through. They catch what they can catch. And you know, the years go by and it saturates. So the soil this far down in my oldest areas is nice, but in my newer areas, it's this far down.
Exactly. It takes time to build it.
It takes time.
Yeah, it's
lots
true.
of time.
Yeah.
But it's growing. It just keeps growing.
Yeah,
growing,
man.
Growing. Things get thicker and thicker.
Dude, so good. Yeah, man. It's good to connect with you. I know we met at the Permaculture Convergence briefly.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm psyched for that.
You're going again this year?
Yeah, I got to cook again.
Nice. You hold down the kitchen.
Yeah, Shanti I got to do the meat kitchen.
The meat kitchen.
The meat kitchen, yeah.
Dude, I remember you guys were throwing down.
Cooking with fire.
Yeah. It's cool. That whole event is about getting close to the land, right? Close the loop.
Yeah.
It's like, I love that, man.
Yeah.
Like we were eating, people were throwing all sorts of stuff. What were some stuff you guys were cooking?
Oh, God. Chris Adler brought me some fox squirrel, I think.
Yeah.
That was actually really good.
He caught it.
Yeah, he hunted it somewhere in the country. I don't know.
Wow.
I think his family's got land up north somewhere. What else did we have? We had some sheep. We had some buffalo. We had rabbit. We had pork. We had pheasant, quail. There was like venison. It was a little everything.
No way.
Yeah, like we were cooking we got the fire started the night before, I think. We just to kind of get going, and we were starting to barbecue some stuff, and we were just kind of eating for 2 days. Lunch and
that's amazing.
Grilling and smoking food, and we made the 2 big giant kettles of soup. All just over fire.
That was good. I had that.
We're gonna do better this year.
You're gonna be ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna do better this year.
Cool.
I didn't know what to expect.
Was this your first year?
That was my first year cooking.
Yeah.
Shanti's like, you need to do cooking with fire. I'm like,
cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Is it at the same spot?
Yeah.
Wonderfield Farms.
Yeah.
That place was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderfield.
Did you see the citrus at that place?
Yes.
Way in the back.
Yes.
The big ones. That's the example. How do you grow citrus like that?
Under those oak
Under
canopies.
those oaks. Big trunks.
Shout out Wonderfield. They host that whole event.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, they're champions.
Yeah.
Shanti, shout out Shanti.
Shanti, she's
Shanti.
rad. She needs to come on the pod.
Yeah.
She's super talented.
Come teach you about some bamboo.
Exactly.
I'll bug her.
I know, yeah, that sounds good. Dude, but I love that event, by the way.
Yeah.
Permaculture Convergence, yeah. It's like, that's what it's about.
That's
You're
a
right?
happy place for me.
Dude, I like it.
Yeah.
Everyone there is on that same vibe.
I meet someone cool there every year.
Amazing.
Like a new person who just like super cool. That just stays with me every year.
That's great.
Every year. It's always cool. I always meet cool people.
Yeah, me too.
Met a really cool couple this year. We did a fully immersive course at the farm in the springtime. And
Cool.
we met a couple that came and signed up for it there, and they ended up being like super cool people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, inspiring stuff.
Yeah.
I learned from it too.
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
I learn huge every year.
Well, yeah.
Built
it's
some
amazing.
stuff with Joe Pierce.
He's a wild man.
Yeah, Joe's nuts.
I like him, yeah.
He's awesome.
He should come on here too. He knows all about bananas and stuff.
Yeah, Joe is loaded with knowledge.
Yeah.
I love talking to Joe and getting his thoughts because he thinks about growing food the same way I do. Like
How so?
he grows chayotes really well. This is a great example of how he thinks about how nature intended it to be. And that's a big part of how I try and understand nature. Is he was telling me about chayotes. I said, how do you plant them? He's like, how does nature plant them? They hang from the vine, the stem breaks, the fruit drops straight down, plop, hits the ground. It has those 2 creases. That vine's going to come out one or the other. That's how you plant a chayote.
That's right, just right there.
Stick it on the ground.
Yeah, you don't even bury it.
You don't bury it, because that's not how nature does it.
That's right.
And they are prolific.
Yeah, they go off. And they're quick.
Yeah, and delicious.
Yeah, they are. They're good in like stews and stuff. Like
They're good in everything.
Dude, they're
raw,
good.
cooked, doesn't matter. We grilled some of them big hairy ones that he grows. They were awesome.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I love how you're talking about it. Like, how does like tuning into how nature works and going from there? Like, that's where it's at, man.
Like Paul Stamets had a good talk that he did at the end of the Bioneers talk that he did. It was about the bees, how the bees were working with the mushrooms and they were feeding off the dew on the mushrooms. At the end of that talk, he did this little clip from Fantastic Fungi.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about how he believes nature is intelligent and nature has a language. And if we can't understand the language, it doesn't lend any, or say that nature's not intelligent. It says that we are not intelligent enough to understand the language of nature. So when we think about how nature intended it to be, that's the language of nature, and that's what I'm trying to understand as far as how to grow food.
Wow. The language of nature.
The language of nature. Paul Stamets is really on a different level.
I love that. Yeah, it's because it's just operating as it does. Like, we try to inflict our will. How about recognizing it, you know?
Like, just look at the forest. Create a forest, but do it with the plants that we want to eat. But mimic that same system.
Mimic the forest.
Mimic the forest. It's a food forest, but mimic a wild jungle where you have to go crash your way through it to get through it. But put in the plants you want. There's vines there. Okay, put a passion vine in. Put a yam in. That's going to produce massive amounts of food.
Totally.
Just think about what the forest looks like and then mimic it with edibles. I think that's how people are going to continue to thrive as the system gets harder to deal with.
Yeah. I love it, man. Dropping gems today. Thanks for coming. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share? How do people find you? Or
find us on the website, thereedfarm.com, my YouTube, The Reid Farm, Facebook. Everything is The Reid Farm. Facebook, Instagram.
Dude, thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, brother. Peace, guys.
We're in the garden. It's existential.